He's just a pushover. My wife told her family while taking my savings. He won't do anything. They agreed. I stayed silent. I just smiled and left. 5 days later she regretted it. I never thought I'd be writing this, but I guess life has a way of surprising you. It started last Tuesday when my daughter Brielle asked for help with her iPad games. My wife Willow had linked her iPad to Brielle's for parental controls, and I was using it to install some educational apps when the messages started popping up. At first, I ignored them. I'm not the type to snoop, but then I saw my name, and something in my gut told me to look. The group chat was titled Family Only, and included Willow, her sister Lucy, and their mom Aurora. I scrolled up a bit and what I read made my stomach turn. Colton's such a pushover, Willow had written. He didn't even question when I said I needed $5,000 for the house renovation planning. There were laughing emojis from Lucy and Aurora. You should take more while you can. Lucy replied. He's too nice for his own good. Remember when he gave up that promotion because it would mean less family time? I sat there, Brielle's game forgotten, as I scrolled through months of similar messages. My wife and her family had been mocking me, planning how to slowly drain our savings, and laughing about how I'd never catch on. They even had a running joke about my puppy dog eyes whenever Willow asked for money. The worst part? This wasn't just talk. I opened our banking app, and the pieces started falling into place. Those renovation plans never existed. The emergency loans to Lucy. Willow had been funneling money into a separate account. The work conferences that kept getting more expensive. I found receipts for shopping sprees and spa weekends. Daddy, is something wrong? Brielle's voice snapped me back to reality. I forced a smile and helped her with her game, but my mind was racing. 8 years of marriage, and I'd never seen this side of Willow. Or maybe I had, and I'd chosen to ignore the signs. That evening, I called my friend Skylar. We met at a quiet bar and I showed him the screenshots I'd taken. His face darkened as he scrolled through them. Man, this is messed up, he said, sliding my phone back. What are you going to do? I took a long sip of my drink. Nothing. Yet. Skylar raised an eyebrow. Nothing. They think I'm a pushover. Let them keep thinking that while I figure out exactly how deep this goes. The next few days were surreal. I went to work, came home, kissed Willow hello, all while watching her tap away at her phone, probably laughing about me with her family. I noticed things I'd been blind to before. How she'd tense up when I walked near her phone, the way she'd make calls from the backyard, her sudden interest in handling all our paperwork. Yesterday, it got worse. I overheard Willow on the phone with Aurora. He's been working so much lately, he probably won't even notice if I move some more money. His bonus should be coming in soon. We could use that for my business venture. She laughed. What's he going to do? Stand up for himself? I wanted to walk in right then, to confront her, to demand answers. But Skylar's words from our last conversation rang in my ears. Document everything. Don't let them know you're onto them until you have all the evidence. So I smiled when she came in. I nodded when she mentioned needing to discuss some investment opportunities. I played my part, the trusting husband, the reliable pushover. But I made an appointment with a lawyer for tomorrow morning. Last night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there listening to Willow's steady breathing, wondering how many nights she'd fallen asleep thinking about her next scheme. Beside our bed was a photo from our wedding day. Both of us beaming, full of hope. Now I wonder if she was calculating even then. This morning, Willow kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me, then texted Lucy. It's almost too easy. Sometimes I feel bad, but then I remember how he'll never stand up for himself. It's kind of his own fault, right? Wrong. They say a fox is most dangerous when it's cornered. But they never mention the dog that quietly watches, waiting for the right moment to show its teeth. I may be a pushover, but even a pushover has his limits. And Willow? She's about to learn that the hard way. I'm meeting the lawyer in an hour. I've got copies of everything. The messages, the bank statements, the credit card bills I wasn't supposed to know about. They think I'm weak because I choose to be kind. They mistake patience for cowardice. That's fine. Let them laugh. Let them plot. Let them think they've got me all figured out. Because in 5 days, when everything is in place, when every document is filed and every account is traced, they'll learn that sometimes the biggest mistake you can make is underestimating the quiet ones. I'll update when things start moving. For now, I need to focus on protecting myself and Brielle. Because while they're right that I'm usually a pushover, they're wrong about one thing. I absolutely will do something about this, and they're not going to like it one bit. Update. First, thank you all for the support on my last post. You were right, I needed to be careful and methodical about this. The meeting with my lawyer was eye-opening. This isn't just about the money, she said, spreading out the screenshots I'd brought. This is systematic financial abuse. She helped me understand that Willow's behavior wasn't just betrayal, it was calculated manipulation. The last 5 days have been educational. You think you know someone after 8 years of marriage, but watching Willow while knowing the truth has been like seeing a completely different person. The little gestures I used to find endearing now seem orchestrated. The The way she touches my arm when asking for something. How she always brings up money matters when I'm distracted with Brielle. Speaking of Brielle, she said something yesterday that made my blood run cold. We were playing in the backyard when she asked, "Daddy, why does mommy's friend from work come to see her when you're not home?" I kept my voice casual. "What friend is that, sweetie?" "The tall man who brings her coffee. He has a ring like yours and mommy's." I bought a small security camera that afternoon. Nothing obvious, just one of those doorbell cameras people use for packages. Willow didn't even notice when I installed it. She was too busy texting Lucy about how she'd secured another $3,000 from our savings for her emergency fund. The camera paid off faster than I expected. Today, while I was supposedly at work, I took a personal day. I watched through the app as a silver BMW pulled into our driveway. A man got out, wedding ring clearly visible, and stayed for 2 hours. I have it all recorded. Every entrance, every exit. But that's not even the worst part. Last night, Aurora and Lucy came over for dinner. I sat there, playing my role of the oblivious husband, while they exchanged knowing looks across my meatloaf. The conversation turned to finances, as it often does lately. "Colton," Aurora said, spooning more potatoes onto her plate. "Willow tells me you're thinking about investing in her new business venture." I watched Willow's face carefully as I answered. "Oh, she hasn't mentioned any specifics yet." Lucy jumped in. "You should see the plans, it's going to be amazing. The initial investment is steep, but..." She trailed off, glancing at Willow. "We can discuss it later, honey," Willow said sweetly, patting my hand. "You know I always have our best interests at heart." They thought they were so clever, setting up their little scheme. But I had already seen the business venture documents on Willow's laptop. There was no business, just elaborate plans to transfer our savings into an account I couldn't access. After dinner, they gathered in the kitchen, thinking I was watching TV with Brielle. Their voices carried through the vent. "He's still clueless," Willow laughed. "Did you see his face when Mom mentioned the business?" "You've got him trained so well," Lucy snickered. "Like a puppy. Just make sure everything's moved before you tell him about the divorce," Aurora advised. "Your sister and I didn't raise you to settle for some pushover who can't even stand up for himself." I held Brielle tighter as we watched her cartoon, my mind racing. They were planning to blindside me with divorce papers after cleaning out our accounts. The timing suddenly made sense. My annual bonus was due next month. Today, while Willow was working late, with her friend in the BMW, no doubt, I met with a forensic accountant. The numbers tell quite a story. Missing money, hidden accounts, credit cards I never knew existed. All meticulously documented now. I also hired a private investigator. Expensive, but worth it. Within 2 days, he had photos of Willow and her friend at various hotels. He also found something interesting. Her friend isn't just married. He's married to one of her biggest clients. Skylar thinks I should confront her now, but that would be premature. "You've got enough evidence," he argued over drinks tonight. "Why wait?" "Because tomorrow is the annual family dinner at Aurora's house. The whole family will be there. Lucy's husband, Aurora's new boyfriend, all the people who've been laughing at the pushover behind his back. I've arranged for some interesting documents to be delivered during dinner. Nothing dramatic, just copies of bank statements, hotel receipts, and some choice screenshots from that family group chat. One copy for each person at the table. They think I'm weak because I'm quiet. They mistake kindness for cowardice. Tomorrow, they'll learn that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one you should watch most carefully. The best part, Willow doesn't even realize that while she's been playing her game, I've already won. Every document filed, every account traced, every bit of evidence documented and legally verified. I just have one more role to play. The oblivious husband at a family dinner. Then we'll see who's really been the pushover all along. Update coming tomorrow night. And trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Update 2. I'm still processing everything that happened at dinner last night, but I promised an update, so here it is. The evening started normally enough. Aurora's house was filled with the usual chaos of family gatherings. Lucy's husband was manning the grill, Aurora's boyfriend was mixing drinks, and Willow was helping her mother in the kitchen. Brielle was staying with Skylar's family. I'd arranged that earlier, knowing how the night might go. I played my part perfectly. The usual quiet, agreeable Colton. I complimented Aurora's new curtains, laughed at Lucy's husband's jokes, and pretended not to notice the knowing looks they kept exchanging. Willow seemed especially affectionate, probably because she thought she was about to pull off her master plan. "Honey," she said sweetly during appetizers, "I was thinking we should tell everyone about the business venture now." Right on cue, Aurora perked up. "Oh yes, Colton, you're going to be so excited about this opportunity." That's when the doorbell rang. "I'll get it," Lucy offered, but I was already standing. "No, please, let me. It's probably the surprise I arranged." The confusion on their faces was priceless. This wasn't in their script. I returned with 6 manila envelopes, each marked with a name. "Before we discuss any business ventures," I said, keeping my voice calm, "I thought everyone might want to review these documents. The room went silent as they opened the envelopes. I watched their faces change as they realized what they were looking at. Bank statements, hotel receipts, screenshots of their group chat messages, pictures of Willow with her friend. Timestamped, dated, documented. Willow's face went white. Colton, I can explain. Can you explain the $47,000 you've diverted from our savings? I asked quietly. Or maybe the credit cards I never knew about. Or perhaps you'd like to explain to your client's wife about the hotel meetings. Lucy tried to jump in. This is obviously a misunderstanding. Like the misunderstanding of you helping Willow set up secret accounts. I turned to her husband. Did you know your wife helped hide stolen money? The room erupted. Lucy's husband was shouting at her. Aurora was trying to damage control. Willow was crying, not because she was sorry, but because she'd been caught. You had no right to spy on me, Willow screamed. Like you had no right to steal from me. I kept my voice level. To mock me to your family? To cheat not just on me, but with a married man? You're just trying to intimidate us, Aurora said. But her voice shook. I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Aurora's voice discussing how to hide assets before serving divorce papers. Lucy's husband walked out. The boyfriend awkwardly excused himself. I've already spoken to his wife, I told Willow. She's very interested in the evidence I've gathered. Her lawyer will be in touch. You've ruined everything, Lucy spat. No, I replied. You did that yourselves. I just documented it. I stood up, straightening my jacket. The divorce papers have already been filed. Don't worry about responding right away. Your lawyers will have plenty to review. The forensic accountant's report makes for particularly interesting reading. Willow finally found her voice. What about Brielle? You mean the daughter you were planning to use as leverage? The one you discussed taking full custody of in your messages. The custody evaluator will be very interested in those discussions. I headed for the door, then turned back. Oh, and Willow? The business venture you were planning to discuss tonight? The one that needed a $50,000 investment? I've submitted those fake documents to the authorities. Fraud is a serious offense. You can't prove anything, Aurora shouted. I smiled. I have proof of everything. Every message. Every transaction. Every meeting. While you were all laughing about the pushover, I was building an airtight case. The last thing I saw before leaving was Lucy frantically texting, probably warning her husband about the financial implications. Aurora was berating Willow for letting this happen. And Willow? She just sat there, finally realizing that her perfect plan had fallen apart. This morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls and over 100 messages. Willow's friend apparently isn't too happy about his wife finding out. Lucy's husband is talking about separation. Aurora's boyfriend decided the drama wasn't worth it and left. My lawyer called an hour ago. Willow's trying to play hardball, but her position isn't great. It's amazing how quickly people turn on each other when they're caught. Lucy's already offered to testify about the financial fraud in exchange for leniency. I took Brielle to the park today. She asked why mommy didn't come home last night. I just told her that sometimes grown-ups need time to think about their mistakes. She seemed to accept that. The next few months will be tough, but I'm ready. They thought I was weak because I was kind. They assumed I was a pushover because I chose peace. They never realized that real strength isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about being strategic and patient. Tomorrow, we start the legal proceedings. Willow's friend has his own mess to deal with. Lucy's facing potential fraud charges. And Aurora? She's learning that actions have consequences. I'll update once the dust settles, but for now, I need to focus on Brielle. She's what matters most in all of this. Turns out this pushover had teeth after all. Final update. It's been 6 months since that dinner at Aurora's house. A lot of you have been asking for an update, and now that the dust has settled, I can finally share how everything played out. Let's start with Willow's friend. His wife didn't just divorce him, she owned half his business. When she found out about the affair, she didn't get mad, she got even. She called every major client they had, including some who were personal friends. By the time she was done, his reputation was in shambles. Last I heard, he's living in a studio apartment and driving for a rideshare company. Willow didn't fare much better. Remember those fake business documents they were planning to use to get my investment? Turns out they'd pulled that scam before. 3 other men came forward with similar stories. The authorities were very interested in that pattern. Willow's facing charges for fraud and grand theft. Her license was suspended pending investigation. No one wants to work with someone who scammed their own husband. Lucy's life imploded spectacularly. Her husband didn't just leave, he went nuclear. When he discovered she'd been helping Willow hide money for years, he had his own forensic accountant look into their finances. Found out she'd been stealing from his company too. She's facing criminal charges, and her husband made sure everyone in their social circle knew why. Aurora tried to play the victim card, claiming she was just supporting her daughters. That story fell apart when the investigators found emails showing she was the mastermind behind several of their schemes. She'd done this before, helping her daughters target men she deemed weak. Her boyfriend ran for the hills when he realized he might have been next. The divorce proceedings were surprisingly quick. My documentation was thorough, and Willow's attempts to paint me as controlling backfired spectacularly. The judge was particularly interested in their group chat messages mocking me while planning to take my money. Nothing like conspiracy in writing to speed up a divorce. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember how they always called me a pushover? That same patience and attention to detail that made them underestimate me. It helped me build an airtight case. The forensic accountant found money trails leading back years. Every transaction, every hidden account, every fraudulent document, all meticulously documented. Custody wasn't even a fight. Those messages about using Brielle as leverage, the ones where Willow discussed disrupting my relationship with our daughter, they didn't play well in family court. I got primary custody, with Willow getting supervised visitation. When she's not dealing with her legal troubles, their social circle crumbled. Turns out, people don't like finding out they've been friends with criminals. Willow's high society friends disappeared when they realized she'd been lying about everything. Lucy's country club membership was revoked. Apparently, fraud charges violate their code of conduct. Aurora's church asked her to step down from her leadership roles. The financial aftermath was brutal, for them. The court ordered full restitution of stolen funds, plus penalties. Willow's hidden accounts were frozen. Lucy's assets were seized. Aurora's retirement fund took a massive hit covering her daughter's legal fees. Last week, I saw Willow at the grocery store. She was using a prepaid card to buy generic brands. She tried to avoid me, but Brielle spotted her. "Hi, Mommy," she said, then turned to me. "Daddy, can we get ice cream?" The look on Willow's face when I pulled out my wallet, the same one she used to mock me for being careful with money, was priceless. Even more so when Brielle chatted happily about our recent vacation and her new private school. Yesterday, Lucy's husband called me. He's found evidence of similar schemes going back to their college days. Other men they'd targeted. Other lives they'd tried to destroy. He's turning everything over to the authorities. The investigation is expanding. Aurora sent a letter begging me to be reasonable and drop the charges. Said I was destroying her family. I sent back copies of every message where she encouraged her daughters to steal from me, with one note: actions have consequences. Skylar asked me if I feel bad about how things turned out. I don't. They chose their actions. I just made sure they couldn't escape the consequences. They thought being quiet meant being weak. They never realized that the quiet ones observe everything, remember everything, and know exactly when to strike. Brielle and I moved to a new house in a better school district. She's thriving, making friends, and seeing a counselor to process everything. Last night, she asked why some people do bad things. I told her that what matters isn't what others do to us, but how we choose to respond. The ultimate irony? If they'd just been honest, I would have helped them. If Willow needed money, I would have supported her legitimate business. If Lucy was struggling, I would have helped. Instead, they chose greed and mockery and lost everything. Sometimes karma needs a little help. They played their game, thinking I was too weak to fight back. They never realized I was playing a longer game, one where patience and documentation beat quick grabs and easy lies. So here we are. Them facing criminal charges and social ruin, me having dinner with my daughter in our new home. Turns out the pushover they mocked wasn't so weak after all. Remember, not all strength roars. Sometimes it just takes notes, builds a case, and waits for the perfect moment to show its teeth. This will be my final update. Brielle and I have a new life to live, and dwelling on the past isn't part of it. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. Sometimes knowing others have your back makes all the difference.